Norfolk Business Show with Danny Snelling. Sponsored by MT Comms.
So we've got Beks in the studio today.
Hello.
Hello, Beks. Lovely for you to join me.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah. I think, yes, you are. You're the first lady we've had on. I know. I've actually had lots of grief for not having a lady on yet.
Okay.
Certainly not intentional. It was just really just, I don't know. But you're here now anyway. And we're only, 7 episodes in. So.
I feel honoured.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
But yes, not before time. We are slightly lacking on my list of people I've got to get in. There is slightly less ladies on there than I'd like. So if our listeners know any ladies who would be good for this show, please do drop me a message. So Beks, what are you best known for? I always start with what are you known for now, and then we'll go back a bit in history and
known for now business-wise.
Yes.
So I have
only business-wise.
Only business-wise, yeah. But the rest stays where it was. Okay, so I have a digital marketing agency called Smash Marketing. We're a team based at Sapphire House on Roundtree Way in Norwich.
And it's presumably SEO, is that?
Well, it actually started off with SEO. We wanted to really niche down, but you can't do SEO in isolation. So we are now almost a full service agency. So
it's not a full stack, is it?
No.
I often hear that term. What does full stack mean? It's more software development and stuff like that, isn't it? Yeah. I always wondered what that service means or what they say when they mean that. So that's what you're doing now. How long have you done it? Where did you start? What's your background right at the beginning?
Oh, my goodness.
Born and bred where?
Born and bred in Norwich. Went to Helston High School, City College. I did a little stint living out in Tenerife as a karaoke compere for 3 years.
That would explain why you're so good at karaoke. I think we've done a few karaokes together over the years, haven't we?
I love karaoke.
So do I, actually.
Then came back and started working sort of in marketing. My longest stint was with Norwich Union, and then when Norwich Union bought RAC, moved over to RAC in the marketing department. When they sold RAC, moved back over.
Sorry, RAC, is that?
The motoring organisation.
Oh, right. They're connected to Norwich Union.
Used to be.
Oh, I never knew that.
They were owned by Norwich Union back in the day. Used to work in Norfolk Tower on Surrey Street. Oh, such a brilliant brand to work on. It was fabulous. Spent a lot of time jet setting all across the UK to the different locations.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's good fun.
We're actually rattling through this far too quickly. You know, we need to
slow down and
we need
get a bit more detail.
Delve more deeply into, I don't know, growing up. You know, at Norwich.
Oh, growing up.
Helston School. What else can we?
Oh, I loved roller skating. That was a big part of my life.
Yeah, I think we said we must have crossed paths at some point because I used to work in. I went to Lads Club lots of times, but I used to work in what was then Solar Skate.
Oh, okay.
And it's now Funky Monkeys, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we must have crossed paths there at some point, I'm sure.
And then in the 90s, you'd mostly find me out. If there was an illegal rave, I'd be there having a little dance.
I think we must have crossed paths at some point there, yeah. Interestingly, because Sean Goodman had me on the radio yesterday, and he asked me to choose 3 songs.
Oh.
Didn't give me any pointers other than that, and it was like, God, I spent days racking my brains over 3 songs.
Your Love.
It was close. It was in the list.
Shine On.
It was in that was in the list. But it was like, do I pick one from then? Do I pick one from now? You know, what do I do? And I picked one from way back, one from middle, and one from recent times. So
my TikTok feed is just all old 90s rave songs coming through to me. It's brilliant.
Are you allowed on TikTok?
Are you suggesting that I might be slightly older?
Well, my kids don't let me on TikTok.
They don't let me post. They don't like me posting because their friends find the posts. Oh, it's so embarrassing, Mum. Yeah.
Yeah, but certainly some good times had myself at that sort of time. Do you ever think it affected you, like, those times?
Mentally.
Yeah, I always blame everything on a misspent youth, but I'm sort of doing it jokingly. But
Potentially, who knows? We don't know the
Yeah, we
long-term
don't know,
effects
do we?
of all this partying, do we?
we don't, do we? All right, so, then you got... did you go to uni after school?
No, I didn't do uni.
No college? No?
No, went to City College, but I didn't do uni. I think, no, you're probably going to come on to the ADHD and a lot of...
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
So I have been sort of half diagnosed. So I've been through the initial diagnosis, and I'm not interested in becoming fully diagnosed. I don't want to medicate. It's good enough that I know now, and I can look back and think, now it makes sense why I didn't want to go and do uni. I just wanted to crack on or just go and have fun, or just do something for a short time and then completely pivot and do something different.
What did you choose at college?
I did a multimedia course, but I didn't finish it.
Oh, well, it's interesting.
But because, and I think
sort of industry.
It was just, I couldn't concentrate, and I think probably my report said things like, must try harder.
Easily distracted. Yeah.
But once again, it's the whole, it makes sense now. That's why.
So it's only a recent thing that you've, I know, been diagnosed or whatever you do. But did you have an inkling before that time? And
well, there wasn't such a thing, was there, ADHD?
No,
it's almost like a fad that's come out recently.
It is, it is.
And everybody's talking about it, and everybody's got some kind of neurodivergence. And it was actually one of my employees from about 2 years ago said to me, I think you are. And then I kind of looked into it and I thought, well, that's me, and that's me, and that's me.
Well, I think you got me to do the online test, didn't you? And that said I was. But I mean, I'm not ever going to put a label on it. I'm not. Yeah, I know my failings.
Well, I think for me, it's helped me because I have now found those kind of tactics to be able to get stuff done. And I see it now as a bit of a superpower because I've got these amazing ideas. I've got ideas for about 5 other businesses that I'd at some point like to progress. And I think if I didn't have ADHD, then I probably wouldn't have this amazing brain that's just firing all the time. Mm-hmm. And I can then create these great solutions for clients. But my real downfall is that when I come to delivering something, I then just hand it over to my team. So actually, it's really worked out well for me.
Yeah, exactly. Having a team there to take over where your brain moves on to the next thing.
Exactly.
That's really good thinking, yeah. Obviously, you've done Aviva, you've done RAC. Much in between then? And how did the business first come about?
After that, I'd been in Norwich Union /RAC /Aviva for about 9 years. And I'd had my second child at that point. And I thought things were getting, they weren't the same organisation that I joined 9 years earlier. There was not as much budget to play with. We were going through restructures quite often. And I just thought, I don't really want to work here anymore. So I decided that I was going to start out on my own, just as a marketing consultant. And I thought, I'm going to work around the children. It's going to be fabulous. So I left, and I put on my submission for a restructure. I said, I don't want to work here anymore. If you must keep me, then slot me somewhere. But I'd actually already incorporated the business in the July, and I came out in about it must have been about the October time. So anyway, I thought, right, start this business, just going to work around the children. Got too busy, took someone on. Got too busy, took someone else on. Got too busy, took someone else on. Before long, there were 5 of us in the business, and I'd never run a business. Nobody.
And it was called Smash.
No, this was a previous company.
Right, okay.
And no, I didn't really know what I was doing. And I ran it for about 3 years. It was profitable. It had no debts. But I just kind of got imposter syndrome, and I ended up selling it to somebody that I'd met at a networking event. And I was just so green. I was so naive. I never got the money for the sale. And it all just kind of went a bit wrong. And live and learn. I went away, licked my wounds. I went and worked for a bigger agency.
You lost money on that?
I lost a lot of money.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Was it someone who's still in existence?
He is somebody who's still in existence. So we'll just,
Oh, yeah, okay.
we won't go into
Cross
too
that
much
one,
more
but-
detail
oh,
there.
that's a shame. Yeah,
It's
that
one of
really
those
is.
things. I didn't look into the company that was purchasing it. I was just easily led and naive.
But, interesting you said about imposter syndrome. It's a common theme that I'm hearing in these things, that almost everyone in business, no matter how big the business is, they're still winging it daily
Yeah.
and still feel as if they are
Yeah.
in some way in that
thing is,
imposter syndrome.
My advice is, if anybody's feeling that they have imposter syndrome, ride it out. It's just a stage. And just put as many...
Is it?
Yeah.
I've been doing it 15
Yeah, it
years
is.
now and I still feel so.
You'll get there, Danny, don't worry.
Yeah.
I think, identify what it is that you've got that imposter syndrome for. Is it, I don't feel confident speaking in front of people? Push yourself out there, do it more. And then you'll lose that imposter syndrome because actually it becomes second nature. Is it finances? Oh, I don't know how much have I got in the bank, how much profit we've got, what is our profit margin, how do I price?
Yeah, I think for me, and I'm sorry,
I was just
it seems
gonna
like
say,
you're
get the
interviewing
advice so
me.
you can-
It seems, but for me, it's almost like, whenever you start out in business, you always think you're going to be a gazillionaire within, within 5-10 years or whatever. And I've never reached that. And actually, consciously, I've decided I'm not going to ever reach those goals. So my goals are achievable now. So I'm comfortable. I've almost decided that I don't want that even. I'm just content the way I am. So I suppose that's allowed me to lose some of that imposter syndrome. But it is, it's weird because when you first start in business, everybody's goal is to be a millionaire.
Well, I don't know that mine was necessary to be a millionaire, but it was definitely to have an agency that was running, had a good reputation, that was getting a steady stream of inquiries. And I don't know, back then, bear in mind, this was over 10 years ago. I had no running a business. I didn't have any of that experience. And you just learn as you go along. And, take two, smash marketing. I very rarely get imposter syndrome now because I think I've had all those mistakes and I've learned from them. And I'm being persistent and consistent and showing up and doing all the things that you need to do. And I'm getting that stream of steady inquiries. So actually, I'm feeling quite comfortable now and no imposter syndrome.
So how soon after the first mistake did you start Smash? And
I went away, worked for a bigger agency for just under a year. I was paying for somebody to look after my children after school, working all the hours that I could to put in this digital marketing capability to this bigger agency that was a design agency. And I just thought, end to end, I was doing everything. I was doing the getting the business from networking events, doing the digital marketing work, reporting on it, invoicing on it. End to end, it was me. And I thought, why am I doing this again? I might as well just face my
yourself,
demons and do it myself. So I thought, well, I'll just do it myself. I'll just work around the children again. I won't employ staff. Got too busy, took someone else on. Got too busy, took someone else on. And at our peak, we were actually at eight members of staff, which was amazing. But I heard a stat earlier on today that last year, 40% of agencies closed.
wow.
I know. Last year was the worst year. It was worse than COVID. It was absolutely horrific. And I think any other agency owners listening to this will probably relate. I don't think there are any agency owners that didn't have to contract and make redundancies. And it's been tough.
Wow. That's actually, a few friends of mine in that business, my son included, can contest that. That is right. Yeah, I didn't really realise it was that worldwide or that big a thing. So I guess that makes you feel better that you're still here anyway.
Well, yeah, it does. It doesn't bring comfort knowing that we can.
Yeah, but obviously at least you weren't the only one, and
yeah, definitely. We did have to make a redundancy last year, and we lost another member of staff because I wasn't able to give her full-time work. And now this year we've taken on probably 8 to 10 new clients, and I've actually had to recruit again. But I think as agency owners, we from my experience, we're a really lovely bunch of people. Well, I like to think that I'm a lovely person, but I know the other agency owners that I know are really thoughtful, and we all kind of care about our teams. But I was getting myself in debt to pay their wages, and I think you do have to be able to contract and expand as the need arises.
Obviously, you've probably tried this route, but subcontracting or
no, that's one of our USPs is that we don't sub out work.
Yeah.
We've got a few things that make us a little bit different to other agencies, that we don't tie our clients into any contracts. So that's a bit difficult because people can leave the next month, but at the same time, we want them to want to work with us.
Yeah.
So we don't have contracts, and that is a conscious decision. We don't outsource. So the people that you phone and speak to down the road at Sapphire House are the people who are actually doing the work. There are some agencies that are more than happy just to sub out to India and what have you, and you get that Chinese whispers, and you lose the quality of work. What else?
Well, I was just saying, surely there must be, if it's a communication issue, which I think everybody can accept ethically, that outsourcing to India is a communication issue, isn't it? Especially if they're client facing. But surely there must be local people who can work freelance for you, and that then wouldn't have the same issues that freelancing to India might bring about, without wanting to sort of be too politically incorrect. But yeah, I don't know, is that an option to perhaps, when you do have to expand and contract like that?
It's just not something that we do. We don't outsource, and it's I think we potentially in the future, but it's not something I'm looking at the moment.
I know you've always said you don't, and so how has it really evolved since, other than growing, and has the product offering changed?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we initially started out with just doing SEO because we wanted to niche down, and we want to be known as the SEO agency for smaller businesses. But you can't do SEO in isolation, so now we do, because you might say, well, we've written this blog using the They Ask You Answer concept, and actually you need to push this out on your socials, you need to push this out on your emails. And a lot of our clients are, well, we don't really know how to do that, or we don't have the inclination. Can you do that? So we then put these products together to do email marketing, to do Google Ads, to do social media. But then the SMEs are like, well, actually, you've got £500 here and £1,000 here. It can start to get more expensive. So now we have these packages that might have just a sprinkling of SEO, one email per quarter, maybe 2 social posts per week. So they're a lot more affordable with these packages. Another thing that we do is we insist on a meeting with our clients each month, because if not, they're like, oh, well, we took Fred on 2 weeks ago and we now offer this service.
Yeah.
If you don't communicate that with us, and clients can quite often forget that we are their marketing partner. I guess
they'll just turn around if they haven't seen or heard from you in a few months and just stop doing that.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're in the face, then...
Exactly.
Yeah. And they'll know what you're doing for them, because you're presumably at that monthly meeting reporting back what you've done. Yeah.
And in those meetings, we talk them through every piece of work that we've done, which is included on the report. So there's that transparency. So we've heard in the past people saying, oh, I've been working with XYZ company. I don't know what they're doing for us, but we seem to be getting inquiries.
I see it all the time. Obviously, we look at IT bills, people are paying, and I looked at one just last week, and it was like £500 for digital marketing. And I asked them, well, what's that for? They didn't have a clue.
No.
Not a clue what they were paying that for.
Chuck them over to us.
Yeah.
So we also, in that report, are the details of the performance of any campaigns that we're running. So, for example, if it's SEO, we'll tell them where they are for, serviced IT for Norwich. We'll tell them what position they are. We'll tell them how much percentage visibility they've got in search engines. And it's quite nice to be able to see that compared to their competitors. And it usually grows each month. We are the only agency that I know of that offers a 6-month money-back guarantee on SEO work. Not heard of anybody else doing that. And we also
anyone taking
have,
you up on that?
I don't know. We'll soon see. We'll see if somebody comments back on this video.
So where are you getting most of your business from? And one thing I'm always intrigued about is, do SEO companies, I know that's probably one of the most competitive markets, but do you get referrals from online, from, the marketing that you do?
Yeah, we do.
It's a bit like, the old adage, a car mechanic's car will always be the worst car down the street, isn't it?
Yeah,
But,
and it always was.
Yeah.
But we've really prioritised our own marketing in the last 2 years, I'd say. We run Google ads, we run Meta ads, so Facebook and Instagram. I speak at events, I do a lot of networking. So actually, I've probably got maybe 10 inquiries coming in per week.
Wow.
And I only need to land 2 for us to grow to our targets. So actually, it's going really well at the moment.
That sounds good. 10.
Yeah, who
10
knew
per
marketing
week
would work?
Yeah, yeah. And what's been, throughout history, throughout your career, what's been your proudest moment? Is it now? Because I know you've won some awards and certainly been nominated for a few awards.
Oh, proudest moment. Oh, you've put me on the spot there, Danny.
Well,
I don't know. I'm really proud of the team that we've got. I love our office. It's very pink, very grey and very teal. Lots of plants.
Luckily, I'm colourblind, so I go there. I don't spot all these things, you see. I just...
Very proud that we are still in business. Proud of my team. They are fabulous. Proud that the business can run without me now. Apart from I do sales. So apart from that bit, it runs very smoothly. My team are very capable. But any one thing? I don't know.
I'm sure I remember you winning an award or something.
We've won quite a few awards.
Yeah, you have. It's probably just another
just
one.
Another award. Yeah.
And well, maybe we'll come back to that. But hardest moment, worst moment.
Oh, making the redundancy last year. Yeah. That was hideous. I started in the August, put 2 members of the team on notice, and just hung it out so long, just trying to save them. And it finished in December. I lost a lot of sleep. It's the first time I've ever had to make anybody redundant, and I don't ever plan to do it again. It was horrible.
No, it's not nice. It's never nice.
Oh, and taking someone to court.
Oh.
Yeah, non-payer. Oh. I lost a lot of sleep over that as well.
I bet. Yeah. That can always... just it's not nice in any situation, is it? But it can be the end of a lot of businesses, and often you hear that's the reason given, isn't it, when they close the doors. What services do you think are most in demand, and what I think you were saying, what had changed over the years and what's evolved, but what do you think is most in demand from business, or what do you think a business needs most from all the array of different marketing?
I think that businesses have it in their head a certain service, and actually in reality they probably need something else. So a lot of companies will come to us and say, oh, we need someone to do our social media, and then actually you ask them, what were your business objectives? Oh, we need to get some sales of the XYZ. Okay,
where is your target audience?
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll then put a bit of a strategy together for them to either, so there's 2 ways of selling, right? Either you educate your audience on who you are and what you do, so that when they have the need for your service, you are front of mind. So that's option 1. Option 2 is, if when that audience has the need for that service and they search the memory banks and don't have anybody in there, what's the first thing they do? Go to Google. So within Google, you've got SEO, so it's getting results found organically. So that would, if you said...
And for those completely not in the know, SEO is search engine optimization. Yeah.
They are getting websites liked by Google and other search engines so that your results are found in those search results. But then, depending who you are, so for example, if you're a trade, I don't know, plumber, electrician, flooring company, roofer, there's a set of ads called local service ads, also known as Google Guaranteed. And all you do is you put in your employer's liability and any licenseship certifications, and then you can appear right at the top of Google search, right at the top, and you only pay when somebody makes an inquiry. So whether they make a phone call or if they send an inquiry, if you've got WhatsApp or a contact
Do
form.
those results show in the sort of the local, the map side of it, or the?
So this is right at the top. This is even above the map pack.
Oh, right.
So if I was to type in, I don't know, roof in Norwich, then I would see a roofing selection of companies. And when I click on it to make an inquiry, every time somebody clicks on that is the only time you get charged. So it's not it's pay-per inquiry rather than a pay-per-click.
Oh, right. So it's different in that obviously a click is never guaranteed inquiry. But because Google can sense that they've called that number or start opening the message.
And if it's a spam message, then somebody, I don't know, looking for a job in IT, with you using you as an example. Actually, bad example because I don't think IT provider is one of the services. Let's say you're a plumber and somebody phoned up and say, oh, have you got any jobs? Then you can actually report that and say that wasn't a genuine inquiry, so I don't want to pay the £20 or whatever they charge you for that.
Yeah.
So it's that. And then people say to me, look, Beks, we're in trouble. We need to get some results pretty quickly. Then I'll say, well, you need Google Ads because actually SEO is a bit of a slow burn. SEO, now, depending on what you do and how competitive your industry is, we will generally see results within 3 months, but 6 months is the sweet spot. And then caveat that with how competitive your competition are, because if they've got an SEO agency working for them, then they'll know that you're doing some work and that you're moving up the rankings, and they might then step up their own efforts so that we can have a bit of a battle.
That in certain industries I know are more saturated than others, aren't they, and more competitive. Certainly the estate agency world and telecoms, bizarrely, are two of the probably the most competitive arenas, I think. So any mistakes along the way, any things you've learnt from, any things you can hold your hands up and say, yeah, I've done that wrong, but could have done that better?
Oh, do you know, I think there are no end of mistakes and a lot of it is over-servicing.
Yeah.
Let's face it, when you put together a new product or service, nobody's going to say to you, oh, it's going to take you X amount of time to build an email campaign, because actually you might have to chase the client 15 times.
Yeah.
And loosely...
Is that actually one of your biggest issues? Because I can imagine if you're doing it's content, which you can't provide a lot of the time, it's waiting for stuff from the business that you're working for.
Well, we do create the content, but it's waiting for that feedback.
You still need information about it, don't you?
Yeah,
Still...
a lot of the information we can gain from different sources, because let's face it, nobody's reinventing the wheel here.
No.
So you've got all that wealth of information dotted around the internet, so we can take that as a learning, as a starting point, and then we'll create content, whether that be, I don't know, reels or blogs or product pages, whatever it is, social content, but we still need to have it signed off. So if we've got to go backwards and forwards...
Am I right in saying as well, I've heard you say that you don't work for the same category
exactly.
at the same time?
I don't think it's ethical. We're a B Corp, and I just try and do lots of things that are... just want to be nice people, want to be known for doing nice things for people, so we will go above and beyond. We'll give rates to charities and what have you. But one of the things that I don't think is ethical is if you work with two organisations of the same industry who are direct competition, who do you give that competitive advantage to?
Yeah, because you're competing against them both, aren't you?
Yeah. But the thing is, if I work with a plumber in Lowestoft, which we do, then there are umpteen, however many areas are there across the UK that we can now replicate that. And we do have on our website marketing for plumbers, and that does generate inquiries. But obviously, if it was an inquiry from somewhere near Lowestoft and it's happened, then we can't work with them.
Yeah. Well, it's nice that you do that, and I think it's, like I say, ethical, but also it's attractive to people looking for that service, isn't it? It's just it's another string to your bow. So what do you most enjoy? What do you get up for every morning, and what does your day look like?
I like talking, believe it or not. Yeah, I like speaking to people. I like creating strategies and solutions. I like when people come to me and they say, well, we can't reach this audience. websites don't work for us. We're just a brochure site. People just come to us to check out whether we actually are a bona fide web company. It's like, no, because actually, look, let's do this keyword research. There's loads of people looking for what you do. Let's get you some of that traffic. And then when you start to see the results and then they start to feed back, starting to get inquiries through the website. Love that. And then you pester them, can I just have a little Google review and can I have a testimonial? So I love that.
Good stuff. And like I say, what does your day look like? Does it is it up early or just?
Well, I've still got 2 children at home, 15-year-old and a 12-year-old. So I do get up early, boot them out the door. They're at the door by 7:30. Then I leave straight away and I'm in the office by 8 a.m. so that I can have an hour before the team arrive to work on the business, get my day set up, and try and get all of my sort of deep thought time done then, proposals and things like that. And then I have a huge amount of meetings with people, whether that be in person or...
Yeah, whenever I'm trying to get a meeting with you, it's always quite a hectic diary, if I remember.
It's constant. And even this evening, I'm straight on to another meeting after this. And I've already had 4 meetings today.
Is a lot of that the monthly meetings with clients, or is it...
I don't do those.
Sales, or is it...
No, my team look after, because they're more involved with the day-to-day running of the business and running of the campaigns. They will then manage those relationships. Mine are mostly new client prospect chats, catching up, networking. What else do I do? And I attend a lot of networking events, lunches, breakfasts.
They soon add up, don't they? But still, I just seem to recall your diary. I think you probably showed me your diary once.
It's quite insane.
Yeah, it's rather busy. So, perfect example, really, of how you would work with a client from start to finish. So, I don't know, we approach you to help with this. Would you, how closely would you look at the type of clients we're looking for, and how much time can we expect from you to sort of almost set it up in the first place? Is it a big project to sort of onboard a client? And
the answer is, how long is a piece of string?
Yeah, I bet.
All depends on what you're having from us. So, for example, if you're going to go for one of our bigger packages that includes SEO, Google Ads, email marketing, social media, the full package, then we're going to spend a bit of time with you, discovery calls, onboarding. Anissa and my team will send you a very long list of requirements, so access to your website, access to your analytics, your search console if you've got it. She'll send you codes and requests for access to socials, ads managers, and then we need to understand your brand, your tone of voice. One of the biggest things is understanding your business objectives. So it's the difference between, this is going to sound like a rant, this is the difference between working with marketers that have marketing training and who are fully qualified, and those who maybe have fallen into marketing, is that actually we'll do a lot of strategy and planning based on buyer behaviour and concepts and things that we've learned in marketing, rather than just you want some email marketing? Yeah, I can build that and send it. We'll actually push back. And why do you want to send an email?
Yeah.
And how often do you want... I had a client this morning who wanted us to do a monthly email. And I said to her, actually, in your industry, quarterly is absolutely enough. So I did myself out of a bit of business, but it's going to increase his open rate and increase the interactions on his emails.
So yeah, it's like asking, they don't know what they need, do they often?
No.
That's the trouble. And they might see a competitor doing something and think, oh, well, we must do that. But is it actually working for them? You don't know. So best example of a client that you've taken on and improved. Can you give us some real world figures in terms of number of inquiries, that sort of thing?
Got an interesting, I can't give you names or stats, but there is a national holiday company that has holiday cottages in the next county along to us. we'd been working with them for a couple of years. We actually took the business from one of the bigger agencies in Norfolk, and it was to deliver SEO for them. We had 8 key phrases that we had to keep in positions 1 to 3, and we did that up until COVID. Now, come COVID, lockdown, they put us on hold. Everything completely on hold for 3 months, and their stats did this, and then they took us back on 3 months later, and they did that again. So it works, and what it is it's a consistent approach. If you were to build a website now and your friends like it, everybody likes it, it's got everything on there that you need to convey your message, the user experience is awesome, and then you leave it because it's perfect, it'll actually start to fall in the rankings.
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
It'll be seen as a neglected website.
Yeah.
So it's that constant evolving of the content and making your content more valuable, adding more contextual links between your pages, more links back from other external websites. It's that constant that will actually help you to increase in the rankings.
It is clever
And we
stuff,
do that
isn't it?
day in, day out.
You know, my son's into all this. I always say to him, it's like a black art.
But it's not a dark art.
Well, it is for someone old like me.
It's a list of procedures that we take a website through. It really is. And I think if any agency tries to bamboozle their clients, see that as a warning sign, because we can explain it in plain English. There's nothing that we can't explain. Actually, we're doing this month, and that's what we do in our client meetings. We say we did that, and that, and that.
Yeah. Well, like in my walk of life, obviously technology, and I always like to touch on technology. Can you give us some examples how you're using technology, be it software, be it
AI?
AI, of course. I'd love to touch on that. How you're using it, what do you see it in the future, and do you see it affecting your industry much?
Well, it already has.
Yeah.
And I think those agencies that aren't using AI are missing out on, it's just saving so much time for all of us. Caveat that. It's got a long way to go. So we will use it for research. Now, anybody listening to this, if you are just getting ChatGPT to generate you some content and put it on your website, then please don't.
Yeah.
It's a good start. I'd say it's probably about 50% there. The other 50% is you going in. For one, please change the American spellings to British spellings, because that's a real no-no. Next one is AI can be very repetitive. Make sure that you're not just repeating the same paragraph over using different words. And make sure it's in your own brand tone of voice, because you can have 2 different pages that sound like they've been written by completely different people. When you write for your target audience, you almost need to have an avatar. Oh, I'm going to be writing for Fred. Fred is my target audience. He's in his 50s. He likes to cycle at the weekends, and he's a no-nonsense kind of guy, and he responds to conversational. So everything that I create on my website is going to be written with him in mind.
I mean, if you're clever enough about it, you can tell ChatGPT to have that target person in mind when you write whatever's coming next. Yeah.
And if you don't feel that it's right, just keep at it and keep changing it and keep evolving it until you are. Until you're more than happy.
GPT will remember Fred as well, won't it? It's it's clever
and then
stuff.
there's
if you
videos as well.
Yes.
It's coming along. The systems that I've seen so far haven't been quite right. The lips don't quite sync.
I was literally watching one before you came in, and it was just basically a lady stood there reading the text that was below, and it was talking about some phone systems, and I straight away knew it was AI. But I always think Joe Public wouldn't, because I'd like to think I know my stuff in terms of AI, but I don't think the vast majority would realise it's AI. It was pretty good, but
I'm quite a perfectionist, so I wouldn't want to do that and present it as work that we've done just yet. But it's not far off.
No,
but we'll use AI generators for, face it, AI is everywhere already. I don't think people realise
exactly,
that they're using it.
No.
So Google Ads has got some AI within it. What I really love now are, for example, the relatively new ads called PMax, and it's using a bit of AI in the background where, let me give you an example. Let's say I was to type in managed IT company, Norwich. So I might see your text ad on a Google search engine results page. The next time, don't click it today. The next time I'm on a website that shows AdSense like the EDP, so those image ads, I'm losing all my words now. I've had too many meetings today. Those image ads, so your image ad will then be displayed as well. And then the next time I'm on YouTube, your video ad might then be displayed to me, all because I've typed in managed IT provider Norwich. And it doesn't just stop there. I can then show your YouTube video to anybody that is perhaps on other websites looking for managed IT. Yeah. So it's really clever.
Yeah, it is. And it's, like you say, in so many different aspects of what we do that we don't even realise it now. And that's only ever going to increase.
Yeah.
But I still think it's a bit, well, dare I say, it's a bit like sort of wokeism and everything like that. It's all going to be, I think AI is going to have its time and it's going to grow massively, but then there is going to be a bit of resistance about that in the near future. And everyone's going to think, is it human or is it? And there's almost going to be an anti-AI. I'm sure of it. There will be. It's a long way off yet, but I think there will be almost like a revolution against the AI bots. I'm sure there will be. And you heard it here first. Unfortunately, because I love everything AI does, I really do, and I think it can help so many businesses that at the moment are so fearful of it. They're scared of it, but they needn't be scared of it. Just embrace it, I think. Work-life balance. You've touched on your day, and it's a busy day, I know. But do you switch off, and if so, what time? And no,
very rarely. I'm in a really very driven at the moment. I am aware that I do need to spend more time with my family, but I am growing the business, so I'm giving it everything. I do tend to work in the evenings. You do involve
them as well. I've often had a video call with you and the kids have been in the background and we've waved.
I do feel a bit bad for them, but we're trying to I'm trying to do less work while I'm on holiday. I think having the team being a lot more capable.
But interestingly, my kids, as you know, are grown up now, and I often quiz them, did it affect you? Because I was 70-hour weeks when they were younger, and albeit I work from home a lot of that, but I often ask them, did it affect you in any way? No, not at all. In fact, I think they've learned from that, and they're quite
good work ethic.
Yeah, they're both got a bit of get up and go about, and I think because of that. So I don't think you should feel too bad about that. But equally, you need to switch off at some point, especially holidays, Beks. That's very naughty. But presumably you just sit there in an evening, maybe with a laptop open and
Okay, so because the children are still quite young, I am mummy taxi. So my daughter swims, so I'll sit there with the laptop and glance up every now and again and watch her go past. You can kind of multitask. What else would I be doing? Sitting there on my phone like all the other parents?
Yeah, and Facebook and God knows what else. Yeah. It's very true, and but equally, I know I used to use those excuses. And I used to say, well, to Claire, you're watching the soap. I'm working, but I did actually manage to wean myself off that. And 6 o'clock, the laptop shuts now. But so that's work-life balance. I assume you realise that's kind of work in progress, and that must.
It is. I am working
improve,
on it. Yeah.
But end goal here. Where do you see yourself 5 years, 10 years? What is the end goal? What are you working towards? Are you going to look to sell it again? And
I'm early 50s.
We're the same age, so.
My husband's a little bit older than me. I'd like to retire in no more than 10 years.
Yeah.
So the end game is to sell.
Yeah. and presumably you've got that in mind now already, and you're sort of working
Hence the
towards
working like a crazy person now to build it up to something saleable.
Absolutely. So let's help with that. What is your absolute dream client? Not just industry or anything like that. Specifically, who would you love a warm introduction to? And let's see if our listeners can make this happen today. Specifically, who would be the best client for you? And I'm talking aim big here. Who would be?
Definitely local.
Yeah, preferably.
Yeah, I do have a bit of an affinity with working with local brands. I don't feel that we are, although we have clients all across the UK, I hope nobody's watching this from other counties. I like
Well, it's a
helping
Norfolk
local
business show,
businesses.
so, the clue is in the name there. And obviously more likely to find someone who knows this person or this business. So
So if you'd have asked me a couple of years ago, it would have been someone like Gerald's, but obviously they've purchased their own marketing agency now.
Yeah.
I don't know. You put me on the spot. So our sweet spot is companies that don't have their own marketing functionality internally, but they are big enough to be able to afford us.
So you can't be specific, I don't think. So what about an industry then that you'd really like to get into, or maybe that you've got a vacancy, because I know you only deal with one type of category, don't you, at any one time?
So we do have a couple of openings. One is for a restaurant in Norwich.
Okay.
We've recently been working with a very well-known restaurant in Norwich, and we've trained the owner how to do their own SEO, and they've taken it over. So we do have that as a category. And also solicitors. We worked with a very well-known solicitors in Norwich, and we moved them up the rankings pretty highly. So we know what we're doing in that space as well.
Good. So there you go. You heard it here, folks. A solicitors or a restaurant. So if any of our listeners know of any of those, please ask that or just send them a link to this video and tell them to get in touch, or put them in touch with me, and I'll put them in touch with Beks here. But I think that about wraps it up, though, Beks. Unless you've got anything else to contribute, but I think we covered everything.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you.
The Norfolk Business Show with Danny Snelling. Sponsored by MT Comms.